good. Like, that goodness is unnoticed because we focus only on the negative. So when the goodness come, kita sa katuni kila, kita sa katuni tompo karaw, nindo na kami nagala ko tikot. Dabi ba kaya na tayo mata ka? Oh, good morning. Ano binaka? Wiutin man nga. Doon dapat patungan na doon yung damon tao. Doon siya nga doon na rumo. Doon mula siya doon naman. Nindo ang kami kumdo yan. Doon biso tayo mango. Ano binaka? Oh, you look good today.
Yeah.
Those good words is take good things and build good relationship.
Yeah.
Yung kapag ako sa awawato nga, mendo nga nakalilay, you only comment when things are not right.
Yeah.
We don't comment when things are okay or even better.
Yes.
And I believe those words of commendation, you are building a character.
And you build up the trust between you. Yeah.
The relationship becomes stronger and stronger because we are focusing on the right. We are not focusing on the wrong. Doon ang uno, utakabulito ko na lesson ko. Okay ko tamay, doon ang tabaway. Kaya may mamatu. Okay, bitin ba ako, okay na. This bottle here is half full or half empty. Lebar kailangan may half empty. Yeso era kailangan may half full. Around doon ururua. Iya pagkatawa nga nakawaray dito ko. Kaya kaya half full, you want the bottle to be full. But if you say half empty, because you are looking from the negative side, oh, kaya rin ikaw, isin mo na lalagay na half of this water that's supposed to be there. So, when we look at things, the things that you say is very, very important. Ni ko rin doon na ka, na ipagkaraw ni kako mo sa kina, sa rimimbi. Although ka magalibu, kaya kung binakata mo tuwa na kina na mubisig ni mataka, iya viso ta ka na mubosa ni kuha. Rawa. Rawa. Mata ba, tu na ron ni da kamagori, tu rawa. Okay, tu liya bitatonga na isele, tali rawa. Na numubisig ni mataka, tari daki, enamoso, o tu kuna ni kuha. Kaya bale, ni ko na bosa binakatubira tu na wani, kim tu na rawa ka, kim tu na binaka. Salah wala ko sa lady, tikit tu ni numumula, sama ka ko deposit tu ka na bagi. Usa deposit ta ka tu na positive. Iki ko sa deposit ta ka tu na positive. Sana there may na positive. Kung ko withdraw kina, iko withdraw ta ka may na positive. Ano ba to ka? Kaya bale, na family table talk, kero bi maong get itu gani. Na lewu nga ni ka vinaka ko ni nakaba. Kena. They will talk about
have a balance. Have a balance. If you're commenting like what he said, have a balance. If you are addressing their negative ways or their wrong ways, also compliment them. And sometimes they do things that is not according to what you want them to do. I'm talking about families. But sometimes they try it. And sometimes they make little things that at most times we don't notice. I'll use my family a lot as example because I learn from it as well. Last time we were having a devotion. This is a particular grandson of mine that I'm always addressing him because he's lazy. And I said, every time I see you, the way you do your duties, you're very lazy. It's either you do, touch up only at the top, you don't do a thorough job about it. And I'm always talking to him and reminding him. And I said, look, don't be lazy, do that. Who's doing this duty? And then, oh, it's me. Okay, you haven't done this, please do it. So last night as we were having our devotion, the change that I've noticed, even before going for the week, and then when I came back, I see him. And last night as we were having a devotion, I turned to him and I said, look, I really want to compliment and thank you. One thing that I've noticed, the change, because Nana has been talking to you with the way that you do your duty, but I see you every morning without a miss, you're up by a little after 5. And you do your duties without any reminder or for me to say, what is your duty and have you done your duty? You're always coming out of your way and you do your duties, like without any reminders, right down to, and you're the very first one on the breakfast table every morning. So I want to tell you, thank you for listening to, the comments and the feedback that I was giving you. And you decide to make a change and change the way that you do things. And for that, I am really grateful. And sometimes when we correct our children or correct our grandchildren, when they begin to make changes, because you're always speaking on the wrong things that they've done or the wrong way of doing things, when they make amends, we always forget to go back and make mention, thank you. Because it becomes a closure to them to think, okay, what I'm doing is right, and I can continue with this. So it becomes a closure. But when you don't comment, then they wouldn't know the last thing that I received was wrong. Everything that I was doing was wrong. So without that feedback coming on the change things that they've done or the changes that they've made, then it's sort of like leave them in a limbo whether the things that I'm doing now, is it correct? Is it acceptable? So when he mentioned to compliment when they're doing good or to correct when they're not doing as well. Even just by having, your dinner or having breakfast. Before you tell them, say thank you. You be the one to say first instead of thank you. I really like this food. My daughter-in-law, she cooks our dinner. And last night, she made nice boiled potato soup. So straight after work, I sat with my grandchildren, and 3 of them, we had our soup. But she wasn't there. And later, she walked in and said, Nate, I would really like to thank you today. I really enjoyed my soup. And thank you for cooking that meal. So my other grandchildren standing there, they look and say, hey, thank you, Auntie Nate. Thank you, Auntie Nate. Sometimes we teach them to say thank you, and we ourselves, we don't say thank you. We are not grateful. And the things that are done for you all the time, you take for granted it's supposed to be done. And you forget to mention your gratitude to the person that always consistently, all the time doing it. But if the same person does something wrong, it's easy for you to comment and say, how come this is not done? Why are you not doing this? Why this is not done? The same person can be doing other things, but we are not complimenting to say thank you for doing all these things. And when they do the wrong things, and then you address the wrong things as well. The balance that you have, it's not all rosy all the time, but to be constructive if you're saying something is wrong. Constructive means like if you are, addressing that wrong, say something to recommend the better way to go about it. Don't just be angry and say it out. You tell them. Cool down a bit and you tell them, look, this is wrong. Next time it happens, you can do this and that and that. So that's constructive. You're trying to tell them this is wrong. Constructively, we can correct. And next time when it happens, this is the way to handle it. Not just destructive. You're just saying it the way it is, you don't like it, and you walk away and then you live in anger. So nothing is solved.
The mistrust, you don't trust one another.
The hurt.
Yeah, and you building a wall between a relationship. Whether it's between parents and their children or between husband and wife. Sometimes you are very commanding and we are very overpowering. Not leaving one another to enjoy their space. You are always on the back telling them what to do.
Yes.
When you know the children, they are on the ground, they know exactly what they're doing. The traffic, the timing, the schooling, the studies, the games, all those things. They are the one handling it better.
Yeah.
No? Because they are on the ground. It also comes into our workplace. Sometimes we as like managers, directors, we supervisors, we dish out everything and our expectation is very high. But the people on the ground are the one that they know what's going on the reality. They are the one facing with the reality. But because we are parents or we are the boss or we are the leaders, we just want things to happen according to the plan and according to
the way
way we want it. But we must always compliment when things happen according to our plan. And we correct when things are not right. But be careful to balance. You will maintain the relationship between you and your children, husband and wife, in your workplace, regardless, even in the church for that matter.
Yes.
Even in the church. Because there are people out there that are facing all the realities of what some of us, we are on the dream world. Yeah? So, when we compliment, we building up relationship and trust, and like our daughter, oh, my mommy loved me. Why? Because she was remembered on something good. Every time her name will be called, because the shoes outside, the uniform not placed well, maybe her bag in Moti's bus, all those kind of things. So her name is only mentioned when something is wrong. But there are other good things that she was doing at that time, at that age, that we don't mention.
Yeah.
So same as a husband and wife, always compliment. Sometimes maybe your wife just receiving from your husband all the harsh word, all the no good word, or the unexpected, the words that you never hear from your parents. Likewise, from the husband point of view, you are receiving the correction and the harsh word from your wife all the time. There is no compliment that shows the relationship, because all those things, as we said in one of our programs, the communication.
Yes.
How do you communicate? Because your communication
Very
builds
important,
relationship.
Yeah.
The relationship is built on communication, whether it's communicating on physical or communicating on oral. Whether you say it or whether you do it.
Acting it out. Yeah.
Those are the communication.
Yeah.
And the person that is receiving, he can receive either when you are not meaning the things that you are doing. So it's a matter of understanding, and a matter of talking and and be transparent to one another, transparent to your children.
Yeah.
As Randin said, once in a week when we have our devotion, we just have a prayer, and it's a time of sharing.
Yeah, we call it a student
We
council.
call it the student
and it's
council.
Thursdays for us at home.
Yeah. And there are times that you share gratitude. There are times that we just come together and pray for our family. And those kind of quality time, it bring the togetherness.
Yeah.
It's like a team building, the team building time. Most of the time we do it in our workplace, but we never do it at home.
Yes.
We do it in the church, but we never do it at home. And that is why the dinner table is where I remember in my family back in the village, this is the time that everybody must eat together.
Yeah.
And nobody will eat until our
Everybody's
father
sitting.
is there and he pray, and then we start to eat. And during that eating, he'll be talking some instruction. Dungaro ng go, sonongon era kekele tugoy na puno ni Sicily, unita ka ni Sindobi Kindo. Sonongon e kuniti ko mga lebu iwa itu isawa sa kami na manua nakatsuka na Sicily kina kekela daw nakatunan dito na nawang kabagabiti na daw nakatukinan dito. Unita ka ni Sindobi Kindo kako ni baroro data ka ng bulon tumatubal na korumbaw bambalabungo. And while we are talking, while we are eating, he'll be giving out some tips of how to carry ourselves in that village. Yeah, because the time now, the workplace has really changed.
Yeah.
So we need to find time.
Yeah.
As
Because whatever you mentioned now, it's very rare to have in families
Yeah.
to sit together. Because it's either somebody's at work or somebody's playing, or there's always somebody out.
So the environment changed very much.
Yeah.
But the person is
Still the same.
So we need to adjust our environment. Because whether we like it or not, the change is
The
coming.
change is coming.
It's how you handle the change. You cannot stop the change. Talemo niya lang amay, how to control your children with the phone. Whether we like it or not. Television lang amay. Nandito lang amay. The rowdy children and rebellious children in the work, in the school, and lang amay.
Yeah.
You can't stop that. Unless you send your children to have their school in a classroom that nobody else there. Only the chair and the desk. But if you send your children to a normal school, there'll be children from different homes. So it's the way that we manage, it's the way that we handle must change.
Yeah, there was a question asked as well on the last Saturday session because of the children that are exposed to a lot of things outside Fiji. And like, say, for instance, in Europe, on how can they cope with that exposure that they cannot control, and to predetermine what will become of their children. And that was a very interesting question because you can't really find the correct answer. And I want to bring the question here because we believe whatever you will build inside of your children is what they will take them right through. And that goes back to the family. They will be exposed. You can't stop them from learning the things that they're exposed to in school, or you can't stop them from learning the things that they watch through their phone. at their fingertips. There's a lot of things that you cannot control, but you can control the time and the moments you have with each other. And as much as possible, when you get hold of that time, you need to drive through to them your love and work on your bonding, because that will last with them. And try and create, if you don't go to church, have a moment of prayer together. And if they belong to a Bible study group, encourage them to go and do so. Because those grounding and those basics, as they learn, whatever that they are exposed to, and the process that they need to go through, that foundation will help them to be convicted whether they are in the right place, or whether they're saying the right thing, or to determine whether it's right from wrong. And also their bonding, the strong bonding they have with you as parents, will also convict them. If I do this, will it make my mommy happy? Or if I do this, will it make my daddy happy? They will ask themselves those questions, because they will go back and rely and trust on the strong bond they have with you as their parents, regardless if they have left home to go to boarding schools, or left home to go to another country, or left home to go on with, like say in foreign countries, people who are turning 18, children, they're working and they're doing their studies. They're supposed to be leaving home. 18. I mean, my grandson is 18. He's in year 13. Looking at him, I see that he's not ready to be looking after himself and going on his own. That's my perspective and my whole outlook. But the world is saying 18, you're supposed to be living your family, living your life. And even if they're doing their studies, they're financing their own. They're working. They are adulting. They are going out as adults. And when you have that grounding, maybe it's too late for some of us because our children have moved on. Or for those of you who still have your children inside your house, this is a good time to really engage them in life and have that relationship with them. Because whatever you share with them when they go and leave home, they will always remember. Sometimes, or most times, they forget, but it's not perfect. Yeah. At least they know they've heard it somewhere. They've heard you said it, and they're bonded to you, or they're close to you with that thinking that they don't want to hurt you. They don't want to make you sad. Yeah. And try and work on that. So if anything that I would like to remind us today, Vangara talmanda na nom rombula ni bebole katike na lubemu vitan loba kalibu batikeira ndambe da kerbi basoti ke bakasona kanda bakadala kataka me nda tawala me nda kota sombu na beria se me nda voroka na ilati e mayado na non dambula ni be maluai baka vetinani se vetamani me rauni listal mai na non dambula ni be ndini natike na bula ni be lamani baka matapuwale seba kabitamani bi itinani seba makumbuni ena nonda bula balate ni tiko na bibole katia wadaba na bono era la ko kina sembula era le sotaba ira na numa mai na beka enda taukena bakamata bobal o kati ko ya sama yamba kilim sul kawana o saba makumbuni au sangani ngule daba na isususu la ko mekina balate sona ka rongo da bitamango rongo da betinango na bola bibole katike tombula mekina e buke yao mo mai bakabulida se o mai rede kina na nongo mata po vale e nambula o me lako tiko kina go so sona cambia kai kona sinye rede wanda lubia mo me da kava e na yamba kini bole tiko kina but ira na nanoma e na beta banga una mai mori ira na nanoma na be kai ko da buta ira na nanoma na be kai era raida e nambula bakamata po vale na non rasusungi mai kai e na takele tu ni non rambula e na bono era lako kina. So, nabi nakata mo ngeti kenda na singa ni ko, dali subatal manda na non dambula ni bibole kati, kaya na lovenda, na non dambula ba bibole kati pa kabiwatini, na non dambula ni, work on your trust, to develop that trust again. Things may happen along the line, like what he said, that you feel so betrayed. It's very hard to forgive the people close to you because you feel that betrayal. It's easy to tell others you can forgive each other or for you to forgive them because they're not part of your life. They're just coming in, meeting you in one crossroad of your life, and they move on. So those moments of your life is not all the time, not consistent, not every day. They are not the close ones to you. So it's easy to forgive them. It's like indirectly telling them, whether you're here or not, it's fine. I forgive you, you move on. But with your family that you love so much, they're so close to you, and when something happens or they betray you, It's very difficult. I can say for that because it happened in my life. It's very hard for you to forgive, easily forgive, because you feel so betrayed because you gave your best. You gave your best. You love your husband so much, or you love your wife so much. You gave your best. You gave your best love to your children. You gave everything that you've ever had to your family. And when one of them do otherwise, you feel so betrayed to the core that really shakes you. And that happens to me. And I'm honest with that. It happens to me. I am a believer. Yes, I am a Christian. Yes. It's easy to say to forgive. But when it happens to you, done by the very people that you're so close to, that betrayal, I don't know how to explain it. And it's so hard to explain it. But it brings about that pain, that hurt. And every time you look, you become reminded. And you feel sorry for yourself. Indirectly saying, for years, I stayed true. For years, I loved you. For years, I do everything. It's like I don't do anything for my life. I'm always living my life for you, or living my life for my family. And I know one of the ladies who gave her feedback for prayer, and she said, I love my husband. I gave all. I finance our family. He doesn't work. He stays home. And all throughout our lives of marriage, I'm the one looking after everything, financing everything. And only to realize now, for a good 5 years, he was using everything that I was doing to be having that relationship or that extramarital affairs. And she said, I'm so deeply hurt, I don't know how to come out of this, but it's really drowning me. And you may be sharing the same story, that you gave your all and you feel so betrayed. Yeah, it will be wrong for us to say, forgive and move on. Yeah, I do that. I easily say that to people who Viber, or people who email, or people who call for prayers. It's easy for me to say, you forgive and you move on. But the process is quite difficult. The process of forgiveness is very difficult, because you're being betrayed not by anybody else, but by the very people that you love your life with. So with that, I would like to recommend today, whatever that you're going through, take one step at a time. One step at a time. And continue to ask yourself, what will be the driving force for you to try and make amends? That you love your children, you love your family, that you don't want anything to happen to your family. That will help you to make the decision on how to slowly come out from the process that you're going through. And try and work on it. It's not an overnight. It doesn't take only a short time. It doesn't take a month. Yeah, I can guarantee you that. It takes longer than that. But the process is up to you. And if you're a believer like me, I am a believer, but I still struggle with it. That's the process that we need to live with. And start asking yourself, the years are going by. Will I continue to do this and feel betrayed all the time? Or can I get out of it and try and forgive and enjoy the remaining years of my life? And that's the question that you need to ask moving forward. How bad or how much do I love my children? How much do I love my grandchildren? And how much do I love my husband? How much do I love my wife? And relook, take a step back and relook at your life and make the decision today. If you know that you love your family, start making amends. If you know that you love your family, start correcting the things that you know that you're doing may not be working as much. Because at the end of the day, no one else will take ownership of that family. It's only you, because God trusted you with that good family that you have.
You can only forgive if you know that you've been forgiven. If you know that you are perfect, you've never done anything wrong, then it will be very hard for you to forgive, because you have a self-righteous attitude. Yeah. But when you know that you are a sinner, you know that you wrong yourself, it will be easy for you to forgive other people. And that's why I already said so many times before, it takes two good forgivers to make marriage work. When you know that you are perfect, nothing wrong in your life, you haven't done anything wrong, you never steal, you never swear, you never get angry, and it'll be very difficult for you to forgive. And that's why we are sharing today the reality of life. It's about forgiving people and moving forward and hoping for the best, because that is how we call the positiveness in this life. If you want to come away from the prison that you're in, you come away from the hurt that you're in, then you treat yourself that somebody, for Christian, somebody come and forgive your life. Forgive me, forgive you, Because this world can move forward with goodness when the forgiveness comes in.
Yes.
When we allow forgiveness, the spirit of forgiveness to come into our life, then I tell you, you are ready to move on. When you don't accept forgiveness, then you are not ready. You will move around in circle, and you'll be very, very upset with things that are not going right. Why? Because you never come away from the mountain that you are stuck with.
Yeah.
Live through it, go through it, let bygone be bygone, and move forward.
Allow the process.
Allow the process. Sometimes, as Randini said, sometimes it'll take years and years, but it can happen.
And I remember now that we're coming to the closure of the program, as you mentioned, as you visited some of the very sick people to pray over, one thing that really stood out is forgiveness. Yes. So whatever sickness that you're going through, just check your heart and have that forgiveness.
Yes,
just try and have a good heart.
From the heart. As you normally say. Once your heart is clean, that means you have forgiven people around you.
Yeah.
It's your heart.
Yeah.
And when your heart is not in a forgiving mode, you keep everything there.
Yeah.
I visited a person very close to me in these few days, very close to me, like relatives. And I said, "Iko biang belum to ka? Terus ato wala nga musa ano mo posotira. So naka waya udala. Yang balatangan ni sini posotira. Au samay ka nyoira dala. Sa waya udala. O tuloy sa harto mo mula. So na
the self-realization of forgiving yourself.
Ningon posotira. O ko sereki ko ito.
Yeah.
And that's why forgiveness is very important. Because when you forgive people, even though they are the one wrong to you, but you continue to forgive.
Yeah. Sometimes life moves on. Your husband does something to you, or have extramarital affairs, or your wife on the other side, and you love them, and you still stay together. But the reminder of that, like sort of have defined the way that you treat each other. Like it's always like that abrupt kind of talk.
And you are not moving again to the time and the place and the situation that you used to enjoy before.
Yeah, it's difficult to reach there, but it can be done.
It can be done.
It's difficult to go back to that trust. Like what I said, it's easy for us because we go to church to say forgive. Easy for him to say that. Move on. Somebody has forgiven you. Yeah, easy to say that. Anybody can say that if you know the Bible. But the process of going through, it's quite difficult. The process of forgiving is quite difficult. But you yourself ask, will I continue to be this way? Or do I deserve to be happy again? And I know all of us deserve to be happy again. So regardless of what you're going through, sickness that you're going through, you deserve another new lease of life. You deserve to stand up and say to yourself, no, I'm not going to allow another day to be lying down. I'm going to stand up today.
Finance,
yes.
Sickness.
Yeah.
Problem.
You'll take
failures
control.
in this life.
Yeah.
I will not allow that. Yeah.
You'll take ownership of your life. So stand up today, take ownership. With your finances, ask yourself, how much have you saved so far? Remember, it's the 15th of April now, coming to the end of the 4th month of the year. And also ask yourself about your health. What have you done? Things, maybe you have visited the doctor and he mentioned a few things. Have you started doing that? The little changes that you can do to your life. And also you ask yourself for your relationship, for your children, your grandchildren like us, and your spouse. Ask yourself, how much have I contributed to make my relationship work? Have you taken some time out to have coffee together? Or take a walk together? Or have you taken some time to sit with your children and get undivided, for them to get your undivided attention? Or with your grandchildren? What have you done to better everything that has to do with you? So we would like to leave those reminders with you and those questions with you until we come back on the show next Saturday, and we will be greeting you all the way from Christchurch. And thank you for taking the time to join us this morning on the Family Table Talk at every 7:30 a.m.
From Spring Street in Turak in Suva, northeast of the capital Suva, we say, have a blessed weekend.
Yes.
Today. A family is an epitome of God's